All right, we're live. Yes. Cool. Great. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. Go Dodgers. Let's spank the Reds this series. Let's end it quickly and move on to the next round. Um, so in this video, we're gonna do a couple of projects. I know we did a lot of discussion about variables and arrays and left a lot on the table. Okay, did, but I think you will learn some things as we move along with arrays and variables. But I want to do a little practice, just kind of get our hands on the keyboard. So we're gonna do that. Let's let me share my screen in just a second. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and um, pull up my Visual Studio Code from the lesson. I guess I'll stick with lesson one. Yeah, I'll stay inside of lesson one. So I'm gonna go CD desktop and then slash lessons. That's wherever your folder is located. Okay, so I say CD desktop because mine is located in the desktop. If your folder is nested inside of documents, you would say CD documents, wherever it's located. Okay, that's up to you to find it. And then I name my folder programming. Okay, and then lesson one. So I'm gonna go CD lesson one. I'm gonna go inside of that folder, and then I'm gonna open up Visual Studio Code from that folder. Okay, and again, if it depends, if you're going to go through the terminal and pull up your files and folders, etc., then you want to make sure that you navigate correctly to the correct location. Okay, you can do all of it through Visual Studio Code, or if you want to, that's perfectly fine. Again, I'd like to go through the terminal. And that's just me. All right, so I'm not going to use this app.js file. I'm just going to make a new file right here. This is not conventional, but I'm doing it just for this. I'm going to create I'll call it projects, or project.js. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and link my project.js to my HTML. So there you can see I have my project.js file. Now I'm in my index.html. And right here where I have my script, I'm going to remove that. And I'm going to place my project.js file. So now I'll be loading up my project.js instead of app.js. Okay. And right here, just because I'm just going to add an H1 right here. Hola mundo. Just going to add that there. No reason other than I just want to do that. And now I'm going to go live. So let me come down here. Well, let me make sure. Yeah, let me move this up a little bit. My big head is in the way. There we go. I'm going to click go live. And here you can see there is my HTML. Matter of fact, let me close this baby right here. Open this up and let me move this up just so my head's not in the way. All right, cool. There you go. All right, so what we're going to do, let's go back to project.js. So project one, this is going to be a very simple project. What we're going to do is we're going to build a temperature converter that will convert a degree in Fahrenheit, and I'll call it Fa, to Celsius, call it cell. Okay, so this is during like the first project that I always have my codings do, just to get some practice in with JavaScript. Always the first one. Yeah, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a temperature in Celsius, well, in Fahrenheit, and convert it to Celsius. Okay, and that should be Celsius, not Celsius. Already with the shenanigans this morning. So an example will be 212 degrees Fahrenheit. That should return 100 in Celsius. Okay. And we're just going to use variables for this. Okay, that's it. And the equation for converting temperatures, which as many times as I've done this, I still don't know it by heart. I always forget it. But anyways, let's get it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say var Fa or Fahrenheit. I'm going to go ahead and assign it 212. Okay. So I got var Fa 212 represent degrees. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say var cell for Celsius is going to get whatever that formula is, which again I don't know. So I'm going to come over here to Google. I'm going to say convert Fahrenheit to Celsius. It pops up because it recognizes me. I've done it so much. And so here's my formula right here. I take the degree in Fahrenheit minus 32 times 5/9. So that's the formula. So I'm going to say Fa, say minus 32 times, and that's what, 5/9. Yep. 5/9. That's it. And now let's log it out. Again, I am expecting 100. That's what I should get. Okay. I know that much. I don't know, again, I always forget the formula, but I do know what I should get. And so open up my console, and there it is. There's 100. Cool. Now, if I want to make this fancy, I could do something like this. I'll leave that right there. I could say var message gets, I could say Fa plus degrees Fahrenheit converts to, I could put cell, degrees Celsius. And then what I will do is console.log message. You get 212 degrees Fahrenheit converts to 100 degrees Celsius. So yeah, that's successful. It worked. I want to test it. Okay. So I got 212. I know that 32 degrees Fahrenheit is 0 degrees Celsius. So when I change Fahrenheit to 32 here, I do get 0. Good. And just because I'm going to look up what the temperature is currently where I am, and it is currently on September 30th, 2025 at 9:20 a.m. It is already 74 degrees. So let's convert that to Celsius. So I say 74, 23.3333, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Degrees. Now, I can show you this. So we see here, I get this long floating point number. Very long. I think that may be like 10, 15 values right there. Okay. Sometimes I want to change that to where I want to specify how many uh decimals I have. I can do that. Okay. So right now, I don't want that long trailing thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here inside of my message, and I'm going to add a method to my cell, which is a number. So I'm going to add a method to this number here, and it is called toFixed. And what toFixed does, it returns a number with a specific amount of digits after the decimal point. So I'm just going to put 1 right there because I only want one decimal to, or one number to follow the decimal point. And make sure again, so cell dot, notice the T is lowercase, the F is capitalized, so this is written camel case, cell dot toFixed, open parentheses, and put a 1. Or if you want to put 2, or 4, what have you, anything that you want to do, that's fine. I'm going to choose 1. Make sure your parentheses are touching, and it is toFixed, ed. Okay, not toFixed, toFixed. And now when I look at it, let's see. Why didn't you change? Oh, there it is right there. It did change. It didn't change up here. But here in the message, you can see now it's 23.3. So that is a little more, humanly desirable. Okay, because we don't want to see all those digits after the decimal. One will be good enough. All right. So cool. That worked. That was the first challenge. It was that simple. And no, maybe for you it wasn't that simple. But that's okay. So let's do this. Let's add to it. Now we're going to build a temperature converter that will convert a degree in Celsius. That's what cell to Fahrenheit. Fa. Okay. And so I'm going to keep, no, I'm not. I'm going to change that up. So I'm going to comment out this console right here. Or you know what? No, what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to give new names. Okay. Or we don't even have to give new names. TBH. What we can do is we can now say cell. I'm going to make cell here 74. Notice again, because we can change the variable, and whatever this content is, I'm just taking it out, and instead I'm going to replace it with the number 74. Okay. And then I'm going to say fa gets whatever that formula is. Let's see. Convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. There you go. And that is Celsius times 9 over 5 plus 32. So that's going to get cell plus, it is right, cell times, not, excuse me, cell times, and I like to put this in parentheses, 9 over 5, like so, and then plus 32. All right. And then what I'll do is I'll say console.log file, and I will say file, no, message gets cell degrees Celsius converts to, I'll say file to fixed, and again I'll put 1 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I will log out message again. So basically, again, the only math that you needed to know, I guess you could say, is the formula to convert the temperatures. Okay. I know a lot of times when people ask about becoming a coder, they want to get into it. They always ask me, oh, is there math? How much math is it? And blah, blah, blah. And my response is like, well, math is everywhere. Math is the language of the universe. You can't escape math. Okay. So you might as well embrace it. Go ahead and embrace mathematics and speak the language of the universe. Okay. You might as well, because the universe isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So you might as well just learn the language. But I understand what you're saying. As far as calculations go, the computer does the calculations for you. Okay, so we don't have to put pen to paper and write, fill this out. We just let the computer solve it for us. And as long as we're ordering our operations correctly, then we'll get the desired result. So with that being said, I'm going to look here, and 74 degrees Celsius converts to 165.2 degrees Fahrenheit. And I see I need to put some space right there. There we go. Let's fix that to there. 74 degrees Celsius converts to 165.2 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's it. And yeah, that completes that challenge. All right. If you didn't get that, pause the video, check your spelling, make sure that your variables and everything matches what I have, and especially make sure your formula is written correctly. Okay. And you can see I like to use parentheses like in certain places. I think it's very important to group these things. Well, I definitely have to group this here in parentheses, and I like to group this in parentheses over here. I don't necessarily have to, but that's what I prefer to do. Okay. Makes it look a lot cleaner. Okay. And then once you get that, you should get the results. Okay. All right. So let's go to our next challenge. What we're going to do. Oh, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to build a randomized menu generator. Let's see. The generator will select 1 of 5 appetizers, 1 of 5 entrees, 1 of 5 drinks, and 1 of 5 desserts. And the example will be a message. It's going to get for I'll say for your lunch, for your meal rather, you ordered spinach and artichoke dip. I'm gonna say something really stupid. Parmesan chicken. Sweet tea and pecan pie. So this will be like an example of the message that we will send out, okay? So it contains, you can see, an appetizer, an entree, a drink, and a dessert. And these are going to be pulled randomly, okay? That's what we're going to do. So there's going to be something that we're going to learn in this video that we have not covered yet, but I want to show it in this video. All right. A couple things that we're going to learn here in this particular challenge, as a matter of fact. All right. But the main thing that we're learning with this is how we take these tools that we have that we're learning, which right now is just variables and arrays, and how do we put them together? Okay, that is what we're learning. So again, it's like Legos. You know, the example I gave to you all a while back where, you know, I have my little bamboo tree up there, or my bonsai tree rather. Forgive me, bonsai tree. I'm misnaming you. I have my bonsai tree there, and it's, you know, it's a bunch of pieces that you take and you put them together to build a bonsai tree. Now, I went by the guide that I had, which is what I'm serving as right now for you all. But at some point, where everyone needs to be is that you're comfortable taking the pieces by yourself and building your own thing with it. Okay, so let's get into that. The first thing we're going to do, and what I'm going to do right here is write down some instructions. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to build arrays for, I call it apps, entrees, drinks, and desserts, because I don't want to write out appetizers. So build arrays for apps, entrees, drinks, and desserts, and each array will contain 5 items. All right, so let's start with that. Step 1. Okay, so I'll say var apps is going to get, the first one I have was spinach and artichoke dip. You can put whatever appetizers you want. Okay, this is solely up to you. This is my restaurant, not yours. Okay, so you do your own thing when it comes to the appetizers and such. I'm doing mine. Spinach and artichoke dip. This is going to be really wild, okay, because I just like different things. Gyoza dumplings. Make them steamed. That's 2. I had some buffalo wings because everybody seems to have that as an appetizer, which, America has to do better. I want to live. I want to be healthy. Oh my goodness. Spanish artichoke dip, steamed gyoza dumplings. I got buffalo wild wings. Let me add 2 more. Um, frying green tomatoes. Yeah, let's add that. And one more appetizer. We'll do celery sticks with ranch. Yeah, I'm going to get ranch dressing with me. Don't do blue cheese. All right, so there's my 5 appetizers, and I'm going to put them all on separate lines, like so, just to make it, again, more readable. Clean code is next to godliness. All right, so there's my apps. Now, my entrees, same thing. I'm going to say var entrees skits. Don't forget your square brackets, okay, because square brackets, it lets us know that we're working with an array. So what was the first one I did? Parmesan chicken. Do shrimp hibachi. Cheeseburger. So I don't know why I make this more difficult than I need to. Yeah, there you go. Steak. Yeah, making it so difficult. One more. I'm gonna do veggie pasta. Give options. So there's my entrees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I need drinks. So I'm gonna say var drinks. Got sweet tea. Beer, glorious beer. Anybody know where they came from? Come on, help me out. Beer, glorious beer. No one has watched My Fair Lady. Sweet tea, beer, chocolate milk, good old water, my favorite. And I'll do Coca-Cola. Let me specify. Coca-Cola. All right, there we go. So there's my drinks, and now I need my desserts. So var desserts, it's gonna get, let's say, pecan pie, sweet potato pie, the greatest of all. Brownie a la mode. Tiramisu. And one more, just some yellow. Make some lemon jello. All right, so there we go. So I have here 5 items for each array. Okay, so that's the first step. Okay, the second step now that we want to do, we want to build a randomizer. Okay, and this is where we're going to learn something new. Okay, because how do we do that? We haven't looked at that yet. Have not yet explored how to build a randomizer. Okay, so we're going to do that right now without further ado. All right, so to build a randomizer, what we're going to use is what is called the math object. Okay, so if we come over here and I'm going to Google, I can just Google the math object, JavaScript. There we go, right there. And if I go over here to MDN, you can give me $1, developer.mozilla.org. I come over here to MDN and looked up the math object. See, the math namespace object contains static properties and methods for mathematical constants and functions. We can invoke this math object to do all kinds of things. It has tons of methods here, like abs, which returns like absolute, a cosine, a sine, tangent, cotangent. We can do ceiling. In other words, we can get like the highest value, cosine you see there, exponents, rounding, floor, hypotenuse, logs, max, min, powers, random, round, all kinds of stuff. Okay, and it also has some static properties as well, like pi, log 10 or whatever. I forget what that number is. I haven't looked at that in a very long time. But we can call this up whenever we want to do calculations for us again, so that we don't have to do it. Okay, because I know a lot of people are so afraid of math, right? But the math object does a lot of the stuff for us. Okay, so let's build this randomizer out. To do that, let's look at this first concept, and that is going to be math.random. Okay, and what math.random does, it returns a decimal value between 0 and 1, not including 1. Oh, and not just that, returns a, let's say, random-ish decimal value. That's what math.random does. It returns a random-ish decimal value between 0 and 1, not including 1. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. I'm going to console.log math, and the M is capitalized, dot random, and then open close parentheses like so. So we're going to console.log math.random, again, open close your parentheses. There we go. And when I come back over here, and let me I'll do it right here. Console.clear. All right. And so here you can see I get 0.033, blah, 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 blah. And each time I refresh my browser, you can see that it's returning a random value. And this random value is always going to be a decimal value between 0 and 1. Now, technically, although I've never done it, you could get nothing but zeros. So 0.0000, you could get all zeros, but you will never get 1. Okay, so it'll always be a random value in between 0 and 1. Okay, and that's math.random. And then what we can do with this math.random is I can increase or scale out my ceiling, if you will, or how high it could go. So I can say math.random times, let's say 8. Okay. And now when I come over here and I refresh and I see 2.85, 4.45, 1.617. And again, I can get, 0, but I cannot, I will not get 8. And the reason why I won't get 8 is because math.random will never return 1. So I'll never get 1 times 8, the identity property of multiplication. So I'll never get 8 here. I will only get I'll get 0 up to 7.99999 whatever, but I'll never get 8. Okay? So, there's our randomizer. Almost. Okay? We're almost done with this. Let's say I wanted to remove all of these decimals and I only wanted a whole number. How could I do that? Well, I will use another math function or math method, and that is math.floor. And math.floor returns the floor value of a number. Or I could say the lower. What do I mean by that? Simply, what we do is we round down. So math.floor is going to return the floor or the lower value of a number. Okay. So let's do that. I'm just going to bring this console.log. I'm going to bring this down. Okay. So instead of consoling math.random times 8, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, matter of fact, I'll just delete that and make this easy for you all to see what's happening. Okay. I'm going to say math.floor. And then inside of these parentheses, I'm going to say math.random, open close parentheses, space, times 8. So you can see I have a parenthesis, opening parentheses in front of this math. I have opening parentheses in front of this math. Here my random, open close parentheses, times 8, and then 2 closing parentheses there at the end. So now console.log, math.floor, math.random times 8. When I come back over here to my console, there's 5, 4, 3, 6, 3, 1, 6, 6, 0, 0, 6. So now you can see each time I click, it is selecting randomly numbers. There's 7. I was going to say where's 7. So it goes from 0 to 7. Now, we built a randomizer. How can we apply this to our problem that will allow us to randomly select from the array? Again, all these little different pieces that we have. Now let's take them and put them together. Okay. Well, let's do this. I'm going to recall. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to recall from the previous video that we did when we talked about arrays, that arrays are 0 indexed, which means that the items start at 0 and goes all the way up to the length of the array minus 1. Message. And also, I will recall that with an array, like say I have var array gets 1, 2, 3, 4. Recall that I could say something like var 2 gets 2, and I could say console.log 2, put the word 2 right there. Okay. And that's going to return, that's going to return 3 because 3 has an index value of 2, 0, 1, 2. Don't believe me, just watch. All right. So if I recall that from the previous lesson, then what I can do is I can say var, and I'm just going to call it index or IDX. So var index is going to get math.floor, math.random times what? What number, what value will we use here? Six. Why would we use 6? Because the item count, how many items do we have? We have 5 items. Yes. So then we'll use 5. That's an idea. You had the right idea, just the wrong value. But we're going to select 5 because there's 5 items inside of each array. Okay. And so what that means is, and why this is useful for us, is because again, math.random times 5, it can return 0, but it will never return 5. The highest that it will the highest that it will return is 4. This is important. And Destiny, again, you had the right idea, but it returns 4 because the last item for each array has an index value of 4. So we want it to be able to select the last item as well as the first. We want to make sure that it selects the first item, the last item, and everything in between that's able to do that. So that's what it would do. So var index gets math.floor, math.random times 5. And now I can just comment out this right here. So now we've built our randomizer. Okay. Cool. And now what we want to do is we want to select random items from array. And then for, we will return the message. All right. So here we go. Step 3, I'm going to say here, I could say var, because I call that apps. Yep. So I can say var app is going to get apps IDX. Var entree is going to get entrees IDX. Var drink is going to get drinks IDX. And then var dessert is going to get dessert, excuse me, IDX. So there. Excuse me. There's step 3. We have randomly selected an appetizer, entree, drink, and dessert. Cool. And then last thing, we're going to return the message. So I'm going to say var. No, we already have a message. So I can say message is going to get for your meal, you will have, put a space right there, and this will be app plus, open my string up, comma, uh, I'll say for say an appetizer, your entree is plus, and then entree plus. Yeah, using these plus signs, monitor those as well as your quotes, okay? Uh, because that's where a lot of times people will make mistakes. Maybe they have two plus signs next to each other or two strings next to each other and not concatenating them. Is it, it's kind of weird. Uh, your entree is blank. Uh, say your drink is, and I'll put drink right there, plus yeah, I'll do period. And for dessert, our special, and then dessert. And then I will close that with a string. I mean, with a period. So here I'm concatenating all these strings with whatever these items are. So for your meal, you will have app as an appetizer. Your entree is entree. Your drink is drink. And for dessert, our special, and then dessert. And then once I got that, I will log out message. You check it, and if you need to, check your spelling. Check and make sure that you're concatenating the string correctly. All right. Check and make sure all that is there. I need to check my. Okay. And now let's refresh. Oh, I get an error. Cannot read parts undefined reading 2 on line 97. Dessert. Oh, that should be desserts IDX. There you go. Yeah, that should be desserts IDX. All right, cool. Come back over here now. For your meal, you will have steamed gyoza dumplings as an appetizer. Your entree is shrimp hibachi. Your drink is beer. And for dessert, our special sweet potato pie. For your meal, you will have celery sticks with ranch dressing as an appetizer. Your entree is veggie pizza or veggie pasta. Your drink is Coca-Cola. And for dessert, our special lemon jello. Spinach artichoke dip, Parmesan chicken, sweet tea, pecan pie. Spinach and artichoke dip, Parmesan chicken, sweet tea, pecan pie. Fried green tomatoes, steak, water, tiramisu. Buffalo wings, cheeseburger, chocolate milk, dessert, brown alamo. Fried green tomatoes, steak, water, special tiramisu. Anybody see anything going on with this? Anybody noticed anything? I hope that you have. Other than salivating. Yes, Tyler, you get the exact same selection since you're using one randomizer. Exactly. Notice here we have one randomizer right here, and this one randomizer, say it's 3. Say it returns 3. Well, what it's going to do is going to pick the item that has an index value of 3, 0, 1, 2, 3 for each one of them, meaning that it's not exactly random. Okay, it treats it more like school cafeteria, if you will, where this is what we have on the menu. You can choose, this thing over here or this over here. Yeah, like a combo meal. Yeah, and that's a better example. It's acting more like a combo meal than like randomly selecting our items. So what we want to do, the way we fix that, is what we're going to do is instead of having this var idx right here, uh, so could you take out the number and make it more random? We're not gonna make it necessarily more random, but what we will do is we will assign a random value for each one of our um uh dishes. So I'm going to comment out this IDX right here, okay, and we're gonna build on it. We had a good first pass, okay, and a lot of times like that, you get a good first pass, make sure that it works, and then you add on to it, see if you can fix it. So I'm going to do is I'm going to say var app idx is going to get apps. Oh, it's going to get, I'm sorry, it's going to get uh, math.floor math.random times 5. And I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it 3 times. So there's app index. I'm going to do entree index. I'm going to do drink index. And we're going to do dessert index. So now each one has its own index. And so now instead of this IDX right here, this would be app IDX. This would be entree IDX. Drink IDX. And oops. Yeah, fix that. Dessert IDX. So now we have specific randomizers, as Tyler stated. So each one has its own. And so now when I come back over here and I refresh it, now this is random. Okay. So each one has its own randomizer. So from entrees, like you get to select which one you want. I'm going to get the buffalo wings. I want the shrimp hibachi. I want some beer and lemon jello. Steamed dumplings, Parmesan chicken, sweet tea, pecan pie. Buffalo wings, veggie pasta, sweet tea, sweet potato pie. So now you can see that it is in fact random because you can choose from each section what item you want. Cool. So we're done. We completed this challenge. Woo! Yes. Stretch, applaud yourself. You did it. If you followed along, you did it. And it's working. Applaud yourself. Yay. Oh, not quite. We have not finished this. What happens if, maybe I want to add lemonade to my drinks? Maybe I have more drinks than I have desserts. I'm going to do that here. Let's say I'm not going to just type it in here. I'm going to, I'll do it here. I'm going to say, what you call it, drinks. Again, we're going to use the push method. We talked about that. So drinks.push lemonade. And so I've added lemonade to my drinks array. And like Ashley just stated, instead of using 5, you could also use length. Yes, correct. So instead of using 5 right here for apps, I'm going to change this to apps.length. Entree is going to be entrees.length, drinks.length, and desserts.length. This is more dynamic because we don't necessarily need to know how many entrees, drinks, appetizers, and desserts we have. We just know that it's going to pull randomly from the entire array. Entree has, 12. If we have entrees, 8 appetizers, 9 drinks, and 4 desserts, it'll be able to pull randomly from it. So that means for us, if it's our restaurant, if we come back up here, maybe, just maybe, there's E. coli going around. Okay, in which case we would have to remove steak and cheeseburger from the menu. So we would have 3 entrees instead of 5. I would not want to have to go and rewrite this here in order for me to have something that works. Okay, I could just remove it from the menu, remove it from my array, and everything else will work just fine. So now we come back over here and we refresh. Let's see, do I get lemonade? Where do I get lemonade? There it is right there. So now lemonade is working. That's not a bad meal right there. Buffalo wings, burger, lemonade, and tiramisu. Not bad at all. So now this is working the way we wanted to. Notice how we started off. Well, one, we wrote some steps now, what we wanted to do. Okay. And this is always a great thing to do. You start off with your steps. What is the project? What are things that you want to do? Okay. Break it up into small pieces. We built out a first pass that worked. It worked fine. And then as we tested out, we noticed some things that we can change to make it a little better, going from a combo meal to something a la carte. And then we fixed the issue of what would happen if we had, if all the items didn't total the same amount, and thus making it more dynamic. We were able to do all of that here. This is the procedure when you're building projects. A first pass is okay. Okay. A second pass is okay, as long as you have something to present, something that works. But you always want to work on this and fine tune it, make things work a little bit better, because we could probably build on this even more if we wanted to, but I think this is good. This covers everything that we wanted to do or that we looked at so far, and I think this is a good stopping place because this video is almost an hour long, and yeah, we're going to end this right here. See you on the other side of this video, where I think we're going to talk about building the evil robot.